Hey guys, back with another video. I wanted to show you my fire kit that I normally carry. I kind of went over it in my one video, but this is dedicated just to the fire kit, okay? First of all, in the fire kit, redundancy is everything. You know, this fire kit isn't all in one spot. Some of it's going to be in a pouch on my belt. Some of it will be in my pack. The reason being is you don't want all, you don't want all your eggs in one basket, okay? If something happens to your pack, you can't make fire, what do you do? Okay, so I got 2 lighters. These are brand spanking new. They've never been used. And they work. I just put them in there, okay? Like, probably a month ago, okay? When I made that first video, a little over a month ago. 2 brand spanking new lighters. Now, if you notice, I've got really bright colors, okay? I don't want a camouflage lighter. Because if I set this down, I want to be able to see it. Now, like I've been saying in my other videos, don't set stuff down. Put it back in your pocket, back in your pouch, back in your kit, back in your bag, whatever. When you're done with it, put it back, okay? Now, I also have what they call a survival match. I lit this for you before. This got a little, I wouldn't trust that on a whiskey bit, okay? This will break off. If you hang this on your keychain, you're going to lose this. I guarantee it. This is just glued on, this little metal sleeve. It's got a little plastic container on the inside. That's just glued on. So you don't want to check a chance on losing. This is full of lighter fluid, like Ronson lighter fluid, like for a Zippo lighter. And this little thing unscrews. And inside is a little striker and a little piece of tinder soaked in lighter fluid. Okay, you run it down the side. Well, if you're not me. Okay. I can't see. I'm not even hitting it. Oh, there we go. Uh-oh. What happened? Uh-oh. The little striker fell out. No, it didn't. It's still in there. Okay. All right. Well, you light it. Okay. I'll light it with a lighter. I'm not going to mess with it right this second. See? You get it to spark, and you screw it back in. And the reason I didn't want to strike it is because when I was looking at it, I splashed some on my hands. So I didn't want to take a chance and have that catch my hand on fire. That would suck. I actually got caught on fire once. Burned all my hair off, but 1st and 2nd degree burns on my face, and severe 2nd degree burns. It burned from here this way. Burned off that little flap on my ear right there. I was this close to being scarred for life. It is painful. So fire, yeah, you want to be careful with it, okay? Now, you got your lighters. You've got, what did I do with it? I just had it. Oh, put that in there. You got the survival mat. Oh, here it is. Put the survival match there. For tinder, everybody's talking about this and that and the other to make feather sticks and all this other stuff. All you got to do is find a twig, and if you have a pencil sharpener, you can make little curls. Okay, I have a different one. It's bigger. This was out of another kit. It takes a little razor blade in it, but this right here, you just twist it and you've got curls. You've got fine, thin curls for tinder, for starter for your fire. These are like they're super cheap. You might even have one in your drawer and not even realize it. But this is real handy. Okay. Now, I've got a thing of matches. These are not strike anywhere, storm matches, waterproof, blah, 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 blah. These are kitchen matches. Okay, this is what I had. Remember what I said about having what you had? I ripped the striker off the box and put it down in here with the matches. Okay. This little carrier thing, I bought it at a camping store, and it's got it's got a screw top lid. I don't know if it's totally waterproof because there's no O-ring. Okay. But it'll screw down tight, so I doubt water will get in it. Now, if I left it in, if I left this thing down in water for a long time, yeah, it's probably going to end up soaking inside. But it's not going to happen in my bag. Unless I'm sitting on the bottom of a river somewhere. Now, let's hope that never happens. Now, the next thing is, let me get these open, are magnifying glasses, okay? This one folds up into itself. Okay, and it clicks shut. This right here will burn a hole in a leaf like fast. Okay, I don't remember where I bought this or where I got it. I had this one, which is one of those little cheap cheesy ones with little plastic lens. And these things scratch pretty easy, but redundancy. One is none and two is one and one is none. Something like that. Okay, I've got 2 of them. This one will be on my belt kit. This one will be in my pack. Okay, this is my first go-to item to make a fire. This uses no resources, none at all. Okay, these right here, if it's a sunny day, now it's got to be a sunny day. Okay, and your tinder has to be good and dry. But if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're gathering dry tinder as you go along and not trying to find it all at once, and you keep a pouch of dry tinder on you, okay, you don't want to just wait till the last minute. What if it's raining outside? You know, you're going to get cold, you're going to get wet, right? So you want to have dry tinder available to start the fire. So if it's raining, you're not going to be able to use this though, because if it's raining, there's clouds. But let's say the rainstorm passed an hour ago and everything's still wet and it's sunny outside. Well, if you don't have dry tinder, you're not going to start a fire. You got to have dry tinder to use these. It's just the way it is. Okay. Now I have ferro rods. I have 3 of these. I've got another one in my kit that I made. This is a belt kit. It's got my Leatherman wave. It's got a ferro rod, strikers, everything I need. It's got a little sharpening stone and a P38. Okay, I made this little bag. Remember that Speedy Stitcher I was telling you about? That's what I sewed this together with. That was in my repair kit bag. Okay, but I got another ferro rod in here with strikers. Okay, in my kit, I have 2 of these. This one has a handle. I've heard these handles will fall off pretty easy, so I'm not going to really depend on that. But I've got 2 ferro rods. I'm fixing to order some of the big fat 1/2 inch ones that are 5 inches long. And at that point, I'll probably get rid of these because these are small. This takes fine motor skills to operate sometimes. I want to be able to have something I can really hang on to, you know, to make the spark. So this little, it looks like a part of a hacksaw blade. This thing is the best striker in the world. I've got it attached to something else because if something's bigger, it's harder to lose. This is green. If I were to drop this in a forest floor, you think I'd be able to find it again? Probably not. But this right here is kind of shiny. But like I said, once you're done with it, put it up. This one here's got, I can hang this off my bag. I can, anything I want. I put this mainly so it wouldn't get lost. Okay. It's got a P38 on it and then the ferro rod. I have a magnesium fire starter that also has a striker. Now this stuff right here will catch on fire. Okay. It's not very, okay. It's not wanting to focus. All right. Focus. Yoo-hoo. Oh, there we go. Okay. The magnesium fire rod, fire thing. It's got the little ferro rod right here and a striker, but you shave off some of this because this stuff here burns really hot. Okay. I'm not planning on shaving it and using this one. I'll probably just shave it and use one of the bigger ones. But I wanted them all together, so I've got the striker with it, so that, like I said, 2 things together, it makes it a little harder to lose. Okay. Now, I have in here, I've got a tin. This is all pine sap that I picked off of pine trees. Okay, this stuff burns for a long time. It melts. You can mix some carbon with it and make a glue. You can make medicines with it. You can do all kinds of things with pine sap. Okay, just look it up. Just Google it on even on YouTube. Yeah, there's all kinds of things you can do with pine sap. So it's good to have some with you. You can make a little lamp with it. Pretty much anything you want. But this stuff here burns for quite a long time. So you want to have, you know, if this anyway, you know, you might not be in a pine forest. You might not be able to find a pine tree. If you can't, well, then you won't have this. I keep a Ranger band around this stuff so that it doesn't get opened in my bag. Okay, now the Ranger band, these Ranger bands are good for lots of different things, but main use is to keep this shut so it doesn't spill its contents. Now, in this other one, this is the one that I would use to make my charred material. This is just charred punky wood. Okay, you make char cloth, but if it's an SHTF situation, you're not going to have cloth probably. I mean, it's possible you run across an old house and there's an old T-shirt in there you can cut up. That's great. That's fine. That's dandy. Jean material, blue jean material, old blue jean material makes great char cloth. But This is charred punky wood, and it works just as good as char cloth. You can't overchar this stuff, okay? I punched 3 holes. I only needed 1, but I ended up punching 3 holes in the top of this thing. And it worked just fine. This stuff lights just fine. You don't even have to take it out of the tin. You can take your striker and strike it down into here, and the minute you see one light up, pick it out, and then close the lid, and it'll smother the rest. So you don't have to worry about losing little pieces of it along the way. And again, you got to have a little Ranger band around it, because I don't want this stuff, because the stuff's black, okay? You get your hands dirty. It'd get all over your stuff, so you don't want to do that. Now that is it on the fire making stuff that I have in my kit. There are other things that I'm looking at. I saw a parabolic fire starter. It looked kind of interesting. Okay, it's a curved dish. It's got a little stand in the middle, and then you put your tinder on that, and then you aim it at the sun, and then it bounces it back and into that tinder and lights it. Okay, I don't know if it would be worth having. It was very cheap, so I probably, it's probably too cheap, and I don't know if it would end up folding flat enough to make it worthwhile in my bag, but I'm going to check it out. And then when I do, I might do a review on it to see what I thought of it. Probably it's going to be too cheap and cheesy to use, but it's something interesting, something different. So anyway, it was a parabolic type lighter. And anyway, remember to have many ignition sources. Keep your tinder dry. You've heard the old, maybe you heard the old adage, keep your powder dry. Well, keep your tinder dry. Okay. You don't want to be stuck in cold, wet weather or snow, or, you don't want to be hypothermic. Okay. You lose motor skills when you get hypothermic, and it makes it a lot harder to light a fire, which is part of the reason why I have a lighter. Okay, is because if I'm really cold, I know my hands don't want to work good. And if I'm wearing gloves or anything like that, it makes it even harder. And if your hands are cold and you have to take off your gloves to light a fire, your hands are going to get even colder. So you want to be able to get your fire started right away. Okay, to me, fire and shelter and water are the 3 main things. The rest comes after. If I've got fire, cool. Then I put up my shelter. Okay, once my shelter's up, that's cool. If I've got fire and shelter, that's great. I'm not going to, the only reason, if I'm that cold, I have gotten wet, which means I'm already near water. Okay. I've got 2 of the Sawyer minis, but I'm also going to get a live straw. And the reason for the live straw is not that I plan on using it much, but you never know, right? I have the 2 Sawyer minis. Okay, let's say I'm hiking along and it's getting warm and I've got full bottles of water because I've already taken care of it. Great. And I'm going to cross a creek, but I'm thirsty. Why drink the water out of here when there's water right there? Okay, take your livestock, get a drink, keep your already filtered water in your container, whether it be a water bottle, a bucket, a Ziploc baggie, whatever the case may be, whatever you have as a container, and then go on. Now, I'm talking in a total bug out, shit hit the fan, leave and go to the woods kind of thing, which is not the ideal thing. I mean, everybody hears me talk about that, but it's not something that I want to do. Okay, I just don't want to. Now, I live in El Paso, which means that it's a desert. It's kind of a high desert. There's very little water. The Rio Grande is the only water running through this place, and sometimes of the year it's dry. Most of the times it's not, but there are times of the year that Rio Grande ain't running because they've got a reservoir upriver. And if that reservoir, which feeds the city water, is low, basically it has to fill back up before they let the water back out. So I can't guarantee that the Rio Grande River will even have water in it, for one. For two, it's very polluted. Okay, I wouldn't want to be drinking water out of that river. Now, I wouldn't mind going upriver and getting it out of the reservoir and using my filters, but down below the reservoir and into the city proper, no, because I'm not sure. First of all, I'm not sure where the sewage plants are. There's more than one. Okay, and if they're putting sewage into which they do, sewage plants put that stuff back in the rivers, which I don't know why they do that. They say, oh, it's safe. Bullshit. Okay, you don't put poop water and pee water back into a river, even after it's been treated, and it'd be safe. Okay, because you can smell it. If you've ever been down river or one of those places, you can smell the water. Okay, if you can smell that water like that, don't drink it. You might have no choice, but at that point you better filter it, then boil it, or boil it and then filter it. I don't care how you do it. Just make sure that everything in it that can possibly hurt you has been killed. Okay, so anyway, my rant on water. Have a decent fire kit. Redundancy. Have 2 or 3 of everything. Because if it is a SHTF situation and you are out in the middle of nowhere and you're cold, you better have some way to make fire. You're just not going to survive very well, if at all. Okay, I've got one more of these Altoids tins that's empty right now. Well, it's almost empty. I got a few more mints out of it. I use those things. But I'm going to put the 2 lighters in it. And the reason I'm putting the 2 lighters in it is to, 1, protect them, 2, to save space. Because you don't want these things losing all their fuel. Now, I could put a little zip tie around here. Okay, I could take one of these little stupid little zip ties wherever I saw one. I don't know where I saw one. And put it around there, or a rubber band. I could put a rubber band around it, I guess, and tie it to where this doesn't depress. But if I'm cold and my motor skills are not that great, do you think I don't want to try to get that off? Okay, because these things here, these things will pop off, and you don't want to tear up your lighter. Now, this lighter, once it's empty, is not useless. Okay, this lighter, even without having any fuel in it, will light char cloth. Okay, so if you're hiking along and you're bugging out and you see an old lighter laying on the side of the road, pick it up. Okay, if this thing runs out of fuel or something depresses the trigger in your bag and it makes it run out of fuel, don't throw it away, because it's still got a striker. Okay, now I don't want it. There we go. I have to hold this up so it doesn't actually light. You see the sparks? It will actually throw spark onto your char cloth. So empty lighters are not a dead resource. Until that sparker quits sparking, it's useful. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe, hit the thumbs up. Check out my links down below for $50 off an EMP unit, and y'all come back and see me.